Welcome back to Make It Modern part 2 of our bathroom remodel. The next step in this remodel is to go ahead and tackle this doorway. When we first moved into this house, we knew that we did not want a door butted up against our shower and the angles, and it was a whole thing. So the very first thing we did in this house was actually take this door off, and we have been living with this beautiful here door jamb. So now it is time for the door jamb to go, and we are going to add a little bit of spice to this house by adding in a nice beautiful curve. That's going to add some interest to this room and also kind of tone down all of these harsh angles that are already going on in here. First things first is we are going to take off the door jamb, and as David said in the previous video, is you do want to score anything that you're removing from walls so that you can go ahead and protect your drywall. We got our first piece off, and as you can see here, scoring really helped us out a lot. Now we're getting into it, and we can see the end of the door frame here, and that goes to the door jamb. The gap up here is much wider than the gap down there. So what that tells me is that's not straight, so we're gonna have to deal with that. So we're just gonna give it a good whack and hopefully it should break. It is not breaking. Now that we've got the frame and the door jamb out, we are going to check it if it is square. To me, it kind of looks like those Beetlejuice doors, you know, that insert picture here. So we're going to check that, and if not, we are going to have to level this up a bit. All the nails have been taken out. We went through with a hammer and painstakingly took all of the billions of nails that these people felt like they needed to put in for this drywall. And it is the moment of truth. We are going to see if this is square or it's a Beetlejuice house. It's square! So what does that mean? Because it's square, and I kind of can't believe that it's square because nothing in this house is square, but we might be lucky today. All we need to do is get drywall for this bit and the arch part. So now let's take you into the garage and show you how we are going to build a template for the archway. We need to figure out how big of an archway we need. So what we're going to do is we are going to measure. It'd probably be easier to measure this with a measuring tape, but this is what I got here. Okay, so it looks like the opening is at 26 inches. And then remember, we are going to be putting ½ an inch of drywall on each side. Therefore, we need 25 inches for the template. So I wanted to make sure that our measurements were going to work. So what I did is I took 25 inches across to mimic the 25 inches that we have to work with for the doorway. And then half of 25 is going to be 12.5. And so since we want it to be kind of a perfect circle, we're going to go 12.5 in and then 12.5 down. From there, you're going to take a piece of string and a pen. You're just going to pull it taut and trace around. Now, as you can see, it took us a couple tries to get this math right, but just remember, halfway in and halfway down. And I do highly recommend doing this with construction paper and not cardboard because it's not the cleanest. However, these are just guides. We are going to be doing this with plywood. Now, you may be asking, Hannah, why is it not one piece? Well, reason being is we want to maintain as much height as possible. If we were going to do one big arch here, you could see that the highest point of the arch would lower the overall entrance. So therefore, we have two pieces. They're going to go in just like that. And remember, we've got ½ inch of drywall on each side, and you can kind of see the start of our arch. That might give you a better picture of what the arch is going to look like. Don't worry, it's going to look great. Trust the process. Never mind the toilet in the background. So we've cut down all of our arches. They look like this. But if you are just to put the arch up, how are you going to secure it? Well, let me tell you. We've cut out these blocks here and we've factored in the ½ inch drywall, the 3/4 inch arches on both sides, which leaves us with like 2.125 inches or something fancy like that. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put that in the center of this stud. the arches are in. The template worked out pretty well. This is the style that we were going for, and we're very happy with it. We did put some blocks in here to help with the sturdiness of the two arches, as well as screwed in 3 pocket holes so that there's 3 points of contact. And now we're going to run to Lowe's and grab some drywall. I will call out that thus far, this is a completely free project. Like, all of this is scrap wood, so we're pretty excited. Next up, Lowe's and then drywall. Aren't you ready?
Yeah.
We did go ahead and tarp our closet. That way when we sand the drywall, we don't pull out drywall bits of dust for the rest of our lives. So that's what we did. And now we're gonna go ahead and start drywalling. So what we did is we cut out a 26 by 13 inch piece, and we're just gonna pop it right up there, anchor in the drywall, and then I will show you what happens next. Next, we are going to go ahead and cut out the excess material here. We're going to use the back here to follow as a template. First of all, we're going to make a strike down the middle to give it a weak point. So that did not work. We're going to try that again right now. Even here, because I don't want to break it again, I'm making him do it with this multi-tool.
Now we got a little bit of a tricky part. We have to drywall the inside of this arch, and in order to get the curve, we just put some cuts here, and now we just screw it in. And if you remember earlier, we put those blockings in between these 2 posts, and that's going to be really helpful for actually having something to screw the drywall into. And here you have it. So a couple kerf cuts, and it goes around that arch quite beautifully. Now we're just going to cut our drywall to width, and it'll go straight down. So these actually should be the easiest cuts of the project. So this is the leftover drywall that we had from the arch. So we're actually going to use this on this side, double it up. We're gonna patch those anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Easiest way to do this is just to use the blade and the actual other side of the wall as our straight edge. That way we can get a perfect measurement. Use the blade. Come straight up like that. That'll give us our cut mark, and there we go. Now this should fit perfectly on the wall there, which it does. Beautiful.
Okie dokie, now it is time to mud using drywall compound. Luckily we have a 5-gallon bucket of this, and this has come in handy for the last 2 years that we've lived here. Now we are gonna go in with some tape, and it goes compound, tape, compound. So this is my first time doing it. I'll let you know if I have any tips. I'm gonna start with this little one here. You know, little wins. Set yourself up for success, right? So I got a little spatula. This might be too much. I think you just need a little bit. We actually went ahead and off camera put on 2 or 3 layers of this here joint compound spackle stuff. Now we're at the final stages where we're just gonna go ahead and put on a fine skim coat to fix these little spots that we didn't notice earlier. I saw one there and one on the inside. Other than that, we'll let it dry. We'll hit it with the fine high grit sandpaper, and then we'll be good to paint. And there you have it. We have an arch. How beautiful is that? Now, I'm not sure if we talked about it, but we did use corner round that was not meant to be bent, and we went ahead and just cut it ourselves. It worked, but it did leave minor imperfections, so I'm not 100% sure that we would recommend it. Overall though, still really happy with how it turned out. It looks a lot better than just a door jamb without a door. So yeah, that's how it looks, and we're on to the next part of the bathroom remodel, which is taking this monstrosity out. This is the reason we have not touched the bathroom, because it is 80 inches long. But luckily, we got one off of Facebook Marketplace, sinks included, for 300 bucks. And that's what generated the whole process here. So now we're gonna go ahead, rip this out. I have no idea how we're gonna do it, but you're gonna learn with us.